I am so excited for today because it is not very often that we get these Smith Corona electrics in, these older ones from the 50s. And I think actually this one's a 1960, but either way, to me, this is the best of both worlds. You have the mid-century modern body style, which you'll see here, plus it's electric, and it's an electric that feels like a manual. I have one, I have an older one with a smaller carriage, and I love it. I mean, I love it. So if you guys are like manual all the way, but you know that the electric is, it's a little bit easier to use for longer projects, but you really don't want to get one of the big clunky electrics, then you need a Smith Corona electric from the 50s. And this one happens to be 1960, but much after this is when they move into the bigger body and clunkier body styles. So I would grab this one up, especially since it's in seafoam green. Now, if you look at the up-close images on the website, you'll see this one does have considerable wear on it, but the seafoam green is so sought after. We did not want to paint this at all. So there is wear on this typewriter, but from the top, it looks nice. Just the front, there's a lot of chipping on it, so be aware of that. Let's go ahead and take a look. This one is an Electra 12, and that means 12-inch carriage, so it's a little bit longer. It can handle bigger paper. Carriage release right here on either side. Just pull that in. You can hear the margin. Margin is set by pushing in either way, out or in. Okay, and then your paper holder is right here. This does have tabs, and the tab set is right here. CL is for clear, and then set for set, and then here's your tab key. Okay, so your return handle, so it's electric with a manual return handle, and this is your line selector, so it tells you when you hit your return if you're going to advance 1, 2, or 3 lines. And then you just pop this open. Inside you'll see the ribbon. We used a metal spool, so we wound extra ribbon on there for you. Also, when you get to the end of the spool, it's not the end of the ink, so you do need to manually reverse this ribbon, and you do that right here, okay? And you just get used to it. You know, you kind of know when it's time to get to the end, and you just flip it. It will last you a long time. You can probably reverse this 40, 50, 60 times before you need to replace it. The metal spools are nice. You can either send these to us and we'll rewrap it, or you can purchase additional ribbon on our website at jotandtittletypewriters.com. Either of those options is there online. Okay, so and this one looks a little dirty. I have not detailed it yet, but it works just fine. I just haven't gone through to get all the dirt in between all the spaces yet. That's my job. It's the last thing I do before it ships out, so I haven't done it on this one. Here's the power switch. You just flip it up like that. And then this is like a touch control. It just determines how hard your type bars are going to strike your paper. So let's go ahead and, oh, here's your color selector. And load some paper, and we will do some typing. Okay, so you just put your paper right here. I brought in the paper guide just to kind of, it's such a large carriage, it just helps me load the paper better. And there we go, got caught. So you can see it's really crooked. So you just use this paper release on the right side, line it up, and then re-engage it. And now you're ready, and we'll turn it on right here. I like to give it a few seconds on all my electrics, no matter what. I just give it a few seconds for all the gears to engage. And this one is a 1960 Smith Corona Electric 12. Not Electra. The Electras are from the 60s and 70s, but this is Electric 12. This is the older version. All right, let's go ahead and test out all the keys. This is so easy to type on. Now there's a couple things about this typewriter. The tab does not work and the margin release does not work. But those are two things that you probably won't. Those are probably two of the keys that you'll use the least anyway on a typewriter, if at all. And I'll explain the margin release here in a second. So the margin release, what that does is, you know, when the bell dings and says, hey, you're at the end of your margin, you need to hit your return handle. If you keep going, the typewriter eventually is going to stop. And what the margin release is supposed to do is release that so you can finish your thought or word. But since it doesn't work, you're going to have to hit that return handle even if you're in the middle of a word. This type's so nice. So every time that ding, that bell goes off, it says, hit your return handle, hit your return handle. Okay, so this type's amazing. I love it. So if you have petite hands, or if you're a fast typist, this is ideal for you. And if you really like the older body styles, but you love the idea of the more modern, like the electric, that you can type easier on it, then this is going to be excellent for you. So like I said, these are really hard to come by, these Smith Corona electrics. So grab this up. Just remember, it's got those two things, the tab and the margin release do not work on this. Also, your color selector is here on the left side, black on top, red on bottom. There is a white selection in the middle, and you can't type with that on. That's called stencil. So if you have issues with typing, there's two things to check. Check to make sure your ribbon doesn't need to be reversed, and then check to make sure that your color selector is firmly on the black or the red. All right, thanks.